Taxes can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're a Bitcoin user and you live in a country with a backwards tax system like the United States. Sometimes it can be very confusing about what type of taxes you have to pay and when to pay them. This video is going to take a look at when you have to pay taxes and offer some examples on how you can figure out how much taxes you have to pay so that you can make sure that you are staying on the right side of the IRS. Some of the tools we'll be using include Blockonomics and Bitcoin.Tax. Let's check it out. So the first question is, how much do you have to pay in taxes for your capital gains? Well, that depends on two questions. When you are selling your Bitcoin and when you purchased your Bitcoin. If you purchased and sell your Bitcoin within 1 year, you would be taxed on a tax bracket like this. 10% if your total income, not just the income you get from your Bitcoin, is under 9,875 for 2020. And if you're a single filer, and then through the different areas here. However, if you hold your Bitcoin for more than a year before selling it, you would actually be taxed on this tax bracket, much lower tax rates, only 15% if your total income, not just the Bitcoin income, is between $40,000 and $441,000. That's only a 15% capital gains tax rate. So the important thing to remember when you are selling your Bitcoin and questioning how much taxes you are going to owe, you want to try to hold on your Bitcoin for longer than 1 year. Longer than 1 year. Okay, so now you figured out that you want to hold on to your Bitcoin for a year. What do you do after that? Well, there's a tool here called Bitcoin.Tax, which is pretty good. It's the one that I use. It allows you to import all of the information from your trader account, from your spending, from your income, put it into a system, and they will calculate how much taxes you owe. So over here on the trading, for example, you could import information from whatever exchange you use. There's a large number of exchanges here so that you can figure it out, or you can manually import it from a CSV. So I'm, for example, going to import mine from my Kraken account and go through all of these steps. And then once I've done all this, I'm going to upload it here, and then you can see that it shows up right here inside my account. These are the trading actions that I took. Then I'll head over to income, and I'll import the amount of income that I've earned from Bitcoin. And this is where Blockonomics comes in. So I'm going to head over to Blockonomics and go over to the Wallet Watcher. And then there's the export feature for my wallet. So I can click on this and do a from date to date. So perhaps I might want to do from January 1st to today. And I can export this to CSV. And then I can see all of the transactions that I've done from the beginning of the year. And so all of these transactions, for example, the additions, I've got those right there. That is what I want for the income. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this row with the outgoing Bitcoin and add that in for the purchases that I made, because that also purchases, that's important to remember, purchases can also be taxed as capital gains. There are a number of rows that you must include, including date, action, account, volume, symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and input those into the thing. So I've got the date, action. So I'm going to insert a new row and put in action. And this was income, a gift, and mining. Let's just say it was set up like that. Put in my account, so I'm going to add in another row and put in the account, and so put in the wallets that I had them in. Make sure the symbol is in there, so again I'll have to put in another row, and Bitcoins is BTC. So you can also use other cryptocurrencies, but I'm just going to show you BTC today. And then the volume. And what you can do is you can just change this to volume, and those are the items that are necessary. You can also include other items in there, such as the total, the currency, but if you don't input these things, then it will just default to USD. So then once that's set up, you will want to save it as a CSV file, and then you can come back over here and import that CSV. And then once that's imported, you will see the items listed here. Next, you'll want to move on to the spending. And then again, this will be the negative values. You can take this from the Blockonomics chart just as I showed you, set it up the same way with the same actions, and import it in there. Next, you'll want to have the opening. This is how much Bitcoin you had in your account at the beginning of the year, right, December 31st. In order to find this, you can use
So to find this, there's a couple of ways. If you've used the Bitcoin.Tax system before, you can import it from the previous year. But the first time that you need to do this, you need to import the transactions and so on that you had from the beginning of the year. Of course, you can manually enter this in, but it's much better to import it in using the Blockonomics tool again. So over on the Blockonomics tool, except this time, set it from approximately when you first started getting Bitcoin or anytime before then. So for example, I might do January 1st, 2016, and then set the end date. Because I'm doing this for 2020, I might set it to January 1st, 2020, or December 31st, 2019. And then export this as well. And so then again, we've got the Blockonomics chart over here. And over on the Bitcoin.Tax, you see that we need these columns. So I've got the date, volume, symbol, and you can actually leave the price. If you leave the price blank, it will automatically create it for you. So I'll put in the symbol over here. And then once that's done, I'll make sure to export it to CSV, just as I did the previous one, and then upload it onto Bitcoin.Tax. And then you can see here that it'll appear right up here with the previous transactions. This will give you the amount of Bitcoin that you started with.
And then I can go to calculate, and it will calculate how much capital gains I have made. So you can see that in total I've made $3,000 in capital gains in this estimate. Then down here you can adjust and choose what is the best way to set up your capital gains for the total tax. So for example here you can see, because of the long-term tax, if you do first in, first out, I would actually pay $0 in capital gains tax. But if I did last in, first out, then I would have to pay a little bit of capital gains because the money that I gained in October and November would not count. So once that's set, I'd choose the capital gains method. I would go to exports, and it would tell me how much I gained and lost, and give me the full list so that I can input it onto my tax returns at the 1040 Schedule D. And so, yes, it is complicated. Taxes are always going to be complicated, especially in a country like the United States, and when you're dealing with an asset such as Bitcoin, which can be very confusing, especially if you're getting paid in Bitcoin or if you're using Bitcoin on a regular basis to spend. Because remember, all of that spending you have to pay taxes on. You have to pay capital gains taxes on. So you have to keep track of those transactions. And that is where the Blockonomics export feature comes in handy, because it will show all of the transactions that you have done over the period of a year, and then you can sort through them and make sure you know which is going where, and be able to accurately report it on your tax returns. That way you can stay on the right side of the IRS and you won't have an audit. And because the IRS is really starting to go after Bitcoin owners and users, this can be an important thing to keep on top of so that you don't have to deal with the IRS in the long term. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it helped out. You can also check out the blog that will be listed in the description below. Thank you for watching.